believe it. 5-1 to England.
Ladies and gents, this really is incredible. This is a bucket list stadium for me. It doesn't matter if you're German, English, this stadium is iconic. The Olympiastadion, the former home of Bayern, 1860 played here, and of course, Germany, the national team, also played here. And obviously I'm an Englishman, so I'm gonna be fond of this ground because it's where England beat Germany 5-1. Granted, Germany would beat England 1-0 before that in the last game at Wembley, the old Wembley. If you're a Forest fan, we've got a few of those on the channel. This is where Nottingham Forest won one of their European Cups. I think they beat Malmo here, possibly. This place has loads and loads of history, and it's a bucket list stadium for me because as a kid, you might remember the game FIFA 98, Road to World Cup, the intro by Blur, Song 2, woohoo! The intro had this stadium and this iconic roof. It looks visually beautiful. Schön. It's bloody lovely, isn't it? Look at it. And we have the pleasure today of a stadium tour booked in about half an hour's time. But of course we're here already. So let's take a look around the outside, inside. Let's take a look at this beautiful stadium. Hit that like button and let's go. Let's do this.
So we mentioned Nottingham Forest won the 1979 European Cup here, but did you know Bayern's Der Klassiker rival, Borussia Dortmund, won their 1997 Champions League final here as well? Speaking of Bayern, they moved into this stadium when it was ready in 1972 and didn't leave until the Allianz Arena was built ready for the 2006 World Cup. Before that, they were at the Grünwalder Stadion, which is currently occupied by their rivals, 1860 Munich, who, ironically, shared the Olympiastadion with Bayern many times over the years. As you can see by these telephones, as apparently they didn't want to share a telephone in the home changing room, so we have a red one and a blue one. And as you can see, not a lot has changed in the changing rooms, very much stuck in the 1970s. And as a reminder, they didn't move out until the mid-2000s. You had the likes of Michael Ballack, Oliver Kahn, Lothar Matthäus, all those legends sat on a bench you'd find in a school changing room. By the way, guys, you might have noticed my 125th anniversary Bayern cap. Make sure you are subscribed, hit that like button because we will be doing a similar video on the current home of Bayern Munich. Of course, we went there for the Bayern Gegen Bochum shenanigans, but we also did a stadium and museum tour. So we're going to go over that, talk a bit about Bayern's history. So yeah, make sure you are subscribed. Anyway, back to the Olympiastadion.
Again, most of the people watching these videos now are German, so I'm not going to keep going on about that one time that we actually beat Germany, but that iconic picture with the Deutschland 1, England 5 on that scoreboard over there. Or was it that one? I think it was that one. An iconic picture for us. We don't have much to celebrate in England, but that's the scoreboard. Beautiful. You've got the clock over there. We couldn't have picked a better day. I'm filming this the day after my beloved VfL Bochum have slayed the giant, our best friend, Bayern Munich. So this has been an incredible weekend and the weather just adds to it. I can hear Spanish voices, Italian voices, possibly Chinese or Japanese, obviously English. This stadium, or Munich in general, attracts people from all over the world. For me, this is beauty. This is the perfect combination of old school and rugged, but also absolutely bloody beautiful. Ruggedly beautiful. The only downside, I guess, as the viewing spectator, as a fan, of course,
this is an Olympic stadium. You've got the running track around the outside. So even though it adds to the grandeur, the feeling of the stadium being huge, you're quite far from the pitch, but that's not taking anything away from this place. So as you can see already, the stadium is pretty much as it was when it was originally built for the 1972 Olympic Games. Now this place couldn't be any more different than the Olympic Stadium in Berlin, which was built for the 1936 Summer Olympics. We all know Hitler was in control and he used that event for political gain. So when planning the 72 Olympics, they wanted to pretty much do the opposite this time around. Rather than the grandeur of the Berlin Stadium, this one blends into the setting with green seats, a soft flowing roof covering just half of the stadium. Apparently that's supposed to look a little bit like the Alps, the mountains. Looking out onto those grass banks, which ironically do contain the rubble from the bombed buildings during World War II. But this is a football channel, so in this video we're going to be discussing some of the iconic moments in football history made inside the Olympiastadion München. So please excuse my even more awful voice than usual. I've had a bit of man flu since Munich, but the facts continue, because on my notes over here we've not even mentioned the fact that 6 games were played at the Olympiastadion in Munich in the 1974 World Cup, including the bloody final, which was won, of course, by West Germany. Now, when we speak about Franz Beckenbauer, we speak about not only him winning the World Cup as a player, but he also did it as a manager. He did it as a player for West Germany in 1974. Also, the tournament Euro 88 was played at the Olympiastadion as well. Not in Berlin, in Munich. Only 2 games played in Euro 88. The tournament was a lot smaller back then, so there wasn't many games at all. But one of those 2 games was, of course, the final. Not won by West Germany this time, won by a rival, the Netherlands. I think they played Russia. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's also been loads of other special moments. We mentioned Dortmund winning the 1997 Champions League, which was a bit weird considering it's Bayern's home ground. And a little bit off topic, as a film in this video, both Dortmund and Bayern have made it through, the quarter-finals of the Champions League, which will be held at Bayern's current ground, the Allianz Arena. So can Dortmund, they got to the final last year, can Dortmund once again win the Champions League at the home of Bayern Munich? Who knows? But in terms of the Olympiastadion, the very first, I think it was the first season, it was rebranded as the Champions League. The same season it was rebranded as the Premier League. The 92-93 season, the final was held at the Olympiastadion in Munich, and it was won by Marseille. Again, this doesn't really interest me too much because I'm all about football, but of course some huge names in the music world: Tina Turner, the Rolling Stones, Michael Jackson, U2, but the biggest one has yet, well, he's been there already actually, but he's returning, England's own Robbie bloody Williams. Let me entertain you. He'll be entertaining you on the 26th of July, so get down to the Olympiastadion if you love a bit of Robbie Williams. If you were to go on Wikipedia, it would tell you the capacity is 63,118, but that capacity has changed loads over the years. I know health and safety, sicker height plays a part in that. I mean, those 1974 games, there was around 75,000 people in there. It dropped down to around 71 for 88, and it keeps dropping down. But it's still a monster. It's still beautiful. And let's get on that bloody pitch. Let's step foot on the same grass all those legends are at Robbie Williams. And I got the footballs there. This is crazy, guys. There's not many stadium tours where you can actually walk onto the pitch. That's the #1 rule. Normally, you cannot walk on the pitch, but you can here at the Olympiastadion. and there's kids kicking around footballs over there. I'm going to go and slide tackle an 8-year-old in a minute and recreate some of those England goals on this pitch. So as a filming this before the game yesterday, I did a stadium tour of the Allianz Arena, and at the museum they showed all kinds of legendary goals scored by Bayern players, of course, on this pitch. The same Rasen players like Oliver Kahn, Sepp Maier, legendary goalkeepers, would frequent the Mullers of Bayern and Deutschland. The legendary English players like Emil Heskey scoring a goal here. Crazy.
Is this going to be another one? It is! Would you believe it? 5-1 to England.
So then guys, when you think of this gorgeous stadium, what do you think of? Are you English and reminiscing over that one time we beat Germany, like I am? It's the wrong shirt, it's behind there somewhere. Or are you German and are you reminiscing about some of your good times? Let us know what you think of. What's the first game you think of when you think of the Olympiastadion in München? So a subscriber of the channel did put a comment on a recent video saying I need to come back to the Olympiastadion in München because they do a zipline walk, or a walk along the roof of this beautiful stadium. You can see the people there in the distance by the floodlight, walking all the way across there. Really would be fantastic, so we'll definitely come back and do that. The Flying Fox zipline. But wow, yeah, only an hour. There's not a lot of football history spoken about on the tour. You do find that with these stadiums, similar to the Wembley tour. They like to talk about the history of the stadium, not just from a football perspective, but hopefully with my little input in this video, you've gained a bit of knowledge or reminisced about the good old times here at this fantastic stadium. So if you enjoyed this video, we make stadium tours, match day vlogs, stadium vlogs, all kinds of football related videos on the channel. This is Football Paradise, and this very much is Football Paradise today. Beautiful setting for this video, so like, subscribe, and Dankeschön, auf Wiedersehen.